If you're too busy in your business, you're doing the business the wrong way. If you're overwhelmed, you're doing the business the wrong way. If you're owning everything on your to-do list, you're doing the business the wrong way. Just what is.
Hi, this is Coach Joe Lukacs, and welcome to the Magellan Network Show. My goal inside of this communication, this show, is to share with you my nearly 30 years of coaching some of the most successful financial advisors in North America. We're going to be talking about strategies, syntaxes. We're going to be bringing guests on from time to time, and I'm going to share with you what's working now. So think of this show as sort of like a little one-on-one kind of mini coaching cast, if you like, where we're going to be going in depth from time to time on strategies to help you grow your business, get more effective, become more efficient, find balance in your time management, grow your business, and quite frankly, whatever else is going on in the world today. So before we get to today's episode, I'd love for you to do a couple things for me. Number one, make sure that if you're watching this on YouTube, that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're doing the audio, make sure that you give us a review on whether Spotify or Apple. We'd really appreciate that. And quite frankly, that does help. It does matter when you rate things and like things and subscribe to things. It helps us get the word out to more of the industry. And lastly, I have a very special gift for you. Go to MagellanNetwork.net, so one word, MagellanNetwork.net, and I have for you a complimentary membership, 100% gratis, where you can tap into about between 50 and 75 hours of masterclasses, forms, tools, templates, and strategies. So please go ahead and make sure you go ahead and get that claimed, smash the like button and subscribe. And please go ahead and leave us a review on whatever podcasting platform you're on. And now, let's get to this week's episode.
So welcome to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. For those of you who watch the show on YouTube, you can see by the background that I am not in my normal day-to-day environment today. Actually, I'm recording this during my summer sabbatical, and we are here in Lake Como, Italy. For those of you who are looking for a new bucket list place to check out, one of the most beautiful places in the world as far as I'm concerned. What I want to do in this episode is it's going to be a little mix and match. I've had a couple of weeks really in Italy, totally disconnected, seeing pretty much as much of the country as we can as a family, as a unit here. Why it's important that no matter where you are in your career, that you take a strategic pause once or twice a year. We use the word mini-sabbatical, right? And why is that important? It clears your head. It gives you perspective. And now, do you have to travel for your sabbatical? Not necessarily. I mean, if your economics or your personal situation, maybe you're small children or things like that, hey, I really can't, Joe, I can't go to Lake Como like you did. I understand that, right? When I started my career nearly 30 years ago, I couldn't do it either, right? But it's really important to shut it down on a regular basis. Now, in my world, what I teach my clients is we want to have two windows. We want to have a summer sabbatical and a winter sabbatical. So a summer sabbatical, anywhere from, we call Memorial Day to Labor Day. And our winter sabbatical tends to be holiday window, right? So the last couple weeks of December, maybe first one or 2 weeks of January, right? Kind of have two great pauses, like 6 months apart. Really, really good. Here's why this is important also. It allows your brain to relax, especially if you can get out of your day-to-day environment, right? So let's just say, for example, you can't travel like what I'm doing here, but could you maybe every day go somewhere for a couple hours, go into nature? This is one of the most pristine, beautiful areas, that I'm aware of in the world. And to be outside, you could probably find this at a local park, maybe a local beach or a local mountaintop, and just go and maybe spend a couple hours and bring a journal, just write or read. Now, I'm going to make a book recommendation here. So this is the book it's the third time I'm going through this, by the way, 10X and 2X. This is probably the last decade for me. Before our work week, I can go back and say, okay, what books have had really profound effects on how I view the world, how I view what I do, how I do it, or who I do it with. The 4-Hour Work Week, probably in 2006, 2007. And now this one here, for those of you who follow me on LinkedIn, you'll see when I was in Tuscany, I was going through this for the third time, read it, listened and then rereading. You see, I kind of worn it off here a little bit and put it down. I think, you always want to be a collector of ideas, a collector of distinctions, at least I do. And it's interesting, when I read the book for the first time, I was home. I was in Florida. I was on my bike. Had it on Audible, right, as I'm doing my morning rides. But reading it here, or actually reading it here in Italy, basically, because the environment's different, it created a much deeper level of impact for me. Because when you're out of your day-to-day environment, your brain is just different. Why? Your environment's different, the scenery is different, the smells are different, logistics are different. In this case, the language is different. And you almost get like a blank canvas where your brain actually, the way I view it, your brain relaxes and allows new thoughts in. It allows possibilities. And again, you can recreate this locally. You just can't do it in your day-to-day environment. So when I read the book the first time, I could tell you I was in my office, in Florida, and I enjoyed the book. Got a couple things out of it. When I listened to the book again, I was in my day-to-day, riding my bike, right, in my route I do, which I do every morning. Got a couple more things. But when I did it for the third time, it was like I was reading a different book. It wasn't a different book. I was just a different person, right, because I was in a different environment. And that's happened twice this year. The last time it happened was actually another Dan Sullivan, Benjamin Hardy book, Who Not How. I read it in Florida. I listened to it while I was in Florida, but then I took it into Park City, Utah, after New Year's, first week of January. And I read it in Park City, over the snows, over the mountains, stuff like that. And again, like a different book. So what I realized is that my epiphanies and my real aha moments never occur in my day-to-day environment. I had one in Huntington Beach, California, a couple of years ago. Dana Point, California, a couple of years ago. Had one in Tuscany a week ago. And I had another one here in the morning, having a cappuccino, just thinking. That's what's so critical. So I recommend you read the book 10X is easier than 2X. And I'm also going to make the case this way too. Now, I've been coaching advisors for almost 30 years. That's all I do. I truly believe that being an advisor is the absolute perfect platform to create a 10X world. And when we say 10X, by the way, some of you have not read the book. This is not about taking your income 10X. It could be that, but it's not about that, right? It's really about doing less, producing more results with less energy and effort, getting very clear on who you are, who you want to serve, eliminating 80% of tasking and people around you who do not serve the cause, if you will. And it's really about shedding the old version of yourself and creating a new version of yourself. So it's not just about taking, and I think this is what the misconception is a lot of times is, well, 10X is like more. I got to do 10X more. I got to make 10X more. No, it's about doing less. Now, I was talking to my Magellan Network Platinum Tribe earlier this week on a video, which I do every morning. And I really had this epiphany. I said, we talk about segmentation, right, in our industry, right? We talk about, A clients, B clients, C, gold, silver, platinum, AAA, double, whatever, right? But here's really the way I think about it now. No advisor should ever work with anybody but their version of an A client. So if you've got 150 households and you've got 30 A's, that should be you spend your time with. You should hire a junior advisor to work with the B's, C's, and D's. Now, I know some of you are going to say, Joe, it sounds good. I can't afford it. Sometimes sacrifices have to be made if you truly want to be great. So if you're going to run a lifestyle practice, right, there's 3 iterations of practices in my mind, right? Lifestyle, ensemble, enterprise. Okay, 3. If you're going to run a lifestyle practice, you can have nobody but your ideals in there. Because if you have less than an ideal in there, you suck up resources. You've got to learn to say no. Now, if you have an ensemble, definition is lead advisor, junior advisor, or team advisor, then the lead advisor should only work with the top 20%. The other 80% should be dedicated to that team or junior advisor. And then enterprise, obviously, if you're the CEO, founder, leader, you don't have to do any reviews if you don't want to. You don't have to take on any client work. You can have a team advisor do that and just be the business owner, right? Be the rainmaker, be the visionary, the coach. That's cool too. But I think in our industry, think about this. You start off in this industry, what? In scarcity mode. If it breathes, it's a client. If they got $10, we'll take them, right? And what I now understand to be true, while I do believe it's necessary for most people when they start in this industry, this profession, The sooner you can shift your thinking away from that, the earlier in your career you can move away from that, the faster you'll evolve. Many advisors have clients they've had for 20 years. And I hear this all the time. And I used to be okay with it, but I'm no longer okay. Let me explain why. I'll hear, Joe, I've got a client that's been with me for 25 years. They're really nice. Yeah, but they don't fit your model. They don't pay you. They're not fee-based. They're not in the model, right? Yeah, but I'm loyal. They're with me. Yeah, but you're not serving them well. They're not being served well. I'll hear, Joe, I've got a client that's been with me for 25 years. They're really nice. Yeah, but they don't fit your model. They don't pay you. They're not fee-based. They're not in the model, right? Yeah, but I'm loyal. They're with me. Yeah, but you're not serving them well. They're not being served well by you because they're not really in your world anymore. You have this sense of loyalty. If you really care about them, you would let them free. Let them go find the advisor relationship that would really serve them. Or if you have a junior advisor, let them serve them, right? You can keep them in your world. You just can't be the lead advisor on them. Some advisors have 1,200 clients. It's craziness. Absolute craziness. You cannot scale that. I don't care how, unless you have a team of like 5 or 10 advisors, you got 2 or 3, too many, right? Less is more. The other thing.
Hi, Coach Joe Lukacs here, and I'm just breaking here for a moment just to do a couple quick reminders. Number one, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel or our podcast. In addition, please leave a comment or a review. Those things really, really matter. And share this episode with 3 of your colleagues inside the financial services space. And lastly, make sure that you go ahead and claim your free membership inside of Magellan Network. Now back to this week's episode.
About our world, advisor land, call it whatever you like. Another reason why I say it's a perfect platform to practice the 10X concepts. You never have to retire. You can take, like I'm on a mini retirement. For the last 2.5 weeks, I've been on a mini retirement. I'll do 2 mini, we call them sabbaticals, right? But I'll do 2 mini retirements a year. 2, every 6 months. Why do I have to retire? I'm already kind of there, right? I don't think in that term. So when I go on sabbatical, I'm on sabbatical. I'll be 59 this year. I'm going to coach till I'm 100. That's my goal. So what's that? 41 more years? So I should just I should just work, right? The sooner you can create the model that you want, because here's what some of you do. And I did it, so I understand this. Even if you have the economic capabilities to go do some cool things, you do not do them. Why? Because you do not give yourself permission to them. Why? Joe, I'm too busy. So here's a little clue. If you're too busy in your business, you're doing the business the wrong way. If you're overwhelmed, you're doing the business the wrong way. If you're owning everything on your to-do list, you're doing the business the wrong way. Just what is. The sooner you could shed those 80% tasks, those 80% clients to someone else, the faster you'll evolve. I know some of you just said, well, Joe, I really can't do that. I have nobody, or I can't afford somebody. You know what? There's always solutions. There's always solutions. You can do a joint venture with somebody. There's a lot of ways to go find talent, right? I'm not saying it's easy, but it's doable. It's not like it's impossible. But I know this for a fact. If you tell yourself you can't do it, then why are you going to try, right? So if you take no action towards something because you talk yourself out of it, that's why you don't get the result. And also, to change, to really go ahead and do something different takes courage. It just does. It takes courage. See, I can map out for any advisor. Here's what a 10X world looks like. You can tell them, and again, it's not about the money. That's a byproduct. It's not about if you're doing $1 million a year right now. Well, what's my $10 million world? Not about that. Maybe your 10X is $2 million, but you get 5 times more downtime. See, I can map out for any advisor. Here's what a 10X world looks like. You can tell them, and again, it's not about the money. That's a byproduct. It's not about if you're doing $1 million a year right now. Well, what's my $10 million world? Not about that. Maybe your 10X is $2 million, but you get 5 times more downtime. Or instead of working with 200 households, now you're only working with 40 because you have a team of advisors doing the rest. You're really focused on your unique ability, the concepts, right? That's what it's about. So for me, like in my world, to go 10x, it's not about taking my income and timesing it by 10. For me, it's about time freedom. It's about freedom, the freedom of relationship, freedom of time, freedom of money, right? Freedom to do what I want to do. That's what it's about. That to me is a 10x life, moving towards that. That's what this game's all about. And like I said, the more I think about it, the more that I know being an advisor is the perfect platform to pull this off. So all of you have an incredible gift. You're not a lawyer. You're not a doctor, not a CPA. You don't have a corporate job. You have a beautiful platform to create a masterpiece for yourself and your families. But nobody's going to paint the picture for you. You have to paint it yourself. And what does that mean? You're going to go get the canvas, the paint, the brushes. You got to test, try, get frustrated, pick it back up again, go again. So evolution is never easy. In fact, the more evolution, like look at those mountains behind me. This is the beginning of the Swiss Alps, by the way. Do you think it's easier to climb that mountain on that side or that mountain over there, right? Degree of difficulty, which is going to give you a better view, which is higher. The more you want to evolve, the steeper the cliff, the steeper the climb. And let me also say this before I wrap this up. I don't care how old you are. And here's what I mean by that. I have the privilege of coaching a client now for almost 20 years. He's probably mid-70s. And he is setting his world on fire right now. Like he went into mini retirement, let kind of his adult children run the business for a while, and bored to tears, not a happy dude at all. Back in the, he said, this is retirement thing ain't working for me. I said, good man, you know what? I know it's not working for you. Let's get you back in the game. Now they're buying practices. They're going to go 10x in their world, and he's probably the most excited I've seen him in probably a decade. Why? You remember something, human beings, all of us, are happiest when we're going after a goal, when we're mission-oriented, when we get up in the morning with a purpose. That's when we as human beings are at our happiest. Now, it doesn't mean there's not challenges, doesn't mean there won't be setbacks, doesn't mean it won't be uncomfortable, but man, we are excited by that journey, by that challenge, right? Like the challenge of climbing these mountains if you care to do that. So I just want you to think about, what is it you truly want in this game? See, if your goal is to make money, you'll make money. That's it. Doesn't mean you'll live a richer life. Doesn't mean you'll experience life at the highest level. Doesn't even mean you'll be happy. You know, I coach some of the Barons, men and women, and a lot of them are miserable. They make a lot of money. They have big practices, big businesses. They're stressed out. Their personal relationships are, frayed at best. There's no balance. It's work, work, work. No joy, no happiness, no peace. So it's not just about the money. But like I said, inside our game here, you have an opportunity because of the leverage you have with fee-based assets under management, planning fees, hiring people, creating a team. There's nothing you cannot do. In fact, I can make the argument your game's easier than my game because I don't have AUM. I don't have that leverage. I've got to create some other ways for me to pull off my 10x game. So just think about that. And I'll leave you with this. Then we'll get you out of here. Challenge yourself to ask a very important question. What is possible? What is possible? If you would have said to me 5 years ago that I would have the business I have today, that I'd even be here in Lake Como, going to Tuscany, seeing Andrea Bocelli live in Tuscany, which is my wife's bucket list, bringing the whole family, everything first class. I would have said, there's no way I can pull that off. I couldn't pull it off economically. I couldn't pull it off with time, but yet here we are 5 years later, we're pulling it off. We pulled it off. So I'll ask you, what is possible in your world? I know it's possible in mine. Thank you for watching or listening to this episode of Magellan Network Show. See you all again next week.
Thank you for watching or listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Hey, if any of this resonated with you, I invite you to come to MagellanNetwork.net, and we have a powerful group coaching community of like-minded advisors. Come in for a trial. You and I will have a one-on-one conversation. Let's see if I can help elevate your game both personally and professionally.